This hunt was partially about me, but it was also about my dad. My dad has never had the opportunity to hunt out west, and it was always a dream of mine to be able to do that with him, but he's gotten up in age now and is not quite able to do the things that he used to do.
Scott's trip took him from the heart of Alabama all the way west to the Colorado Rockies, where he then drove north to some of the most beautiful landscape in North America.
Not having ever hunted out west before, I wasn't sure what to expect. Once I got here and realized how beautiful the country really is, I knew that I was in for an exciting adventure and a trip like I've never been on before.
When Scott and his guide Rob arrived on the mountain the first morning, they could hardly see 30 yards away.
I did find out the way to pass time, though, trying to glass for elk or when you are socked in with fog.
Sunflower seeds?
Yeah, it's a bad habit. I'm addicted to them bad.
After a while, we decided to try to get a little bit lower and see if we at least could see something or the visibility was a little bit better.
See if we can pick something up, make something happen here. We might be quiet enough to where we won't hear him, but you never know. Awfully quiet up there.
Or anything.
Some days it just doesn't pay to get out of bed. But today was one of those rare occasions when the rising fog gave way to one of the most amazing sights Scott would ever see.
There's nothing like hearing an elk bugle for the first time in the wild.
But when you're in their house, it's way better.
The blood begins to boil.
Rob counted 192 elk making a train right up the mountain.
Heard that one.
You heard that one? Yep.
It's just a long line of looks like a herd of cattle. Making their way up.
That's a big group of elk.
Yes, it is.
There's a few up there. There's one bull in there that I would consider. Actually, there's two bulls in there that I would consider. There's one he's a decent 6. He's got short 6, probably maybe 3 or 4 inch 6, but he's a 275, 280 bull. Worth getting a closer look at.
As we were looking at the elk, we noticed that they were a little bit skittish, a little bit hesitant, I guess, or unsure of themselves. Since I've never been around elk before, I'm not really sure how to interpret their behaviors.
Rather than risk spooking the herd, the guys went back up on top of the mountain to see if the fog had lifted enough to glass across the valley.
After a few minutes of glassing and looking around, Rob was able to quickly spot a small group of elk off to our right.
There's at least 20 head.
We dropped down the mountain into an area known as the corral. Rob had me set up intercepting the elk based on the direction that they were heading up the mountains.
They're gonna come either on this side or that side of that knob, which they're gonna filter into these trees. We'll just give them half hour, 45 minutes. Okay. See what they do.
With a good game plan in mind, the only thing to do was to wait and see what popped up over the ridge.
We had great visibility out to about 300 yards, but we used the rangefinder to set distances at 100 yards and 200 yards just to give me some idea of how close or how far the elk would be in the event I got a shot. As we were sitting there, the fog began rolling in again, and we seemed like it was just following us everywhere. After a point, the visibility was just such that we couldn't continue the hunt or even possibly get a shot off. And of course, with our visibility limited to about 20 yards, if an elk were to pop out, I'm not exactly sure what my reaction would be, but I can only imagine a 700 to 1,000 pound animal appearing out of the mist.
It'll only reflect 18 yards, and then it's just shooting laser right back. Will they continue their movement through this thick fog? They could very well have bedded up right below us.
Suddenly, Scott hears something coming up over the ridge, and by the sound of things, this is a big one. Stay tuned as the action heats up right here on Living the Wildlife.